welcome to Excellent Point. Today we are going to learn how to write chemical formulae. So what is chemical formulae? Chemical formulae is a set of chemical symbols showing the elements present in a compound and their relative proportions. Okay, let's get into it. Start with our first example, which is sodium chloride or common salt. You can see it everywhere in your life. So let's start it. So, how does this formula come about? We will have to see what is sodium and what is chloride. So, the symbol of sodium is Na, meaning natrium. And symbol of chloride is Cl, as you know now. So, Na or natrium or sodium has valency of 1 and chloride or chlorine has valency of 1. So when we crisscross, we cross over the valencies and we get NaCl. So that's our first example. So we are moving to our next example. So go on. We are moving on to our second example, which is hydrogen sulphide. So let's move on to something hard. So hydrogen sulphide, we will have to see what is the symbol of hydrogen, what is the symbol of sulfur or sulphide, and we will also have to see what their valencies are. So you will have to study valency symbol all by heart to write chemical formula. So let's get into it. Hydrogen's symbol is H and sulfur symbol is S. Let's see what their valencies are. Hydrogen has a valency of 1 and sulfur on the contrary has a valency of 2. So when we cross over the valencies, we get H2 and S1. So H2 and S1. So we get it H2S. So it is our second example. Let's move on to our third example. Moving on to our third example, it is carbon tetrachloride. It is getting harder and harder. So you have to see what is the symbol of carbon. It's C. And what is the symbol of chloride or chlorine? We will only have to see tetra means 4. So you don't have to worry about it. Carbon is here and chloride. The rest is chloride. So you will have to see what is the symbol of chlorine, which is Cl. So we will have to see what their valencies are. Valency of C or carbon is 4 and valency of chloride or chlorine is 1. So 4 plus 1 minus. So we are going to cross over the valencies. We will get C1 and Cl4. So we are going to write it. We don't have to write 1 because it is 1. We already know that there is one C, so we don't need another one. So we are doing it CCl4. So we have written our third formula. So we are going to our fourth formula, which is calcium hydroxide. This is a little tricky considering the fact that it has calcium, hydrogen and oxygen as components in it. So as we mentioned earlier, the symbol of calcium is Ca and hydroxide has a symbol of OH. So we have to write their valencies now. What are their valencies? The calcium has a valency of 2 plus and the hydroxide has a valency of 1 minus. So when we cross over the valencies, we get Ca1OH2. Can we write it like this? No, this is completely wrong. You have to write it like this. Ca1. You can also write 1, but we don't write it usually because 1 is completely unwanted. And OH, we have to put OH in bracket because it is a polyatomic ion. We can't write it as like this. This is completely wrong. You have to write it like this. OH2. How do we spell it? We spell it like CaOH twice because you have 2 here. The final formula is Ca. Final formula is CaOH in bracket twice. So let's get into our fourth formula. Next formula is ammonium sulphate. This is more trickier than the last one, considering the fact is it is ammonium, which is a mixture of nitrogen and hydrogen, and sulphate. It's also a little tricky, so let's get into it. Okay, what is the symbol of ammonium? The symbol of ammonium is NH4. Okay, the symbol of ammonium is NH4, and sulphate, the symbol is SO4. So let's check their valencies. Their valencies are 1 plus and 2 minus. What do we have to do? We have to cross over the valencies. When we cross over the valencies, we get something like this: NH4 in the bracket 2SO4. Okay, we get the symbol as NH4, which is in bracket, and it has 2 outside the bracket, and we also have SO4. So our fifth formula is aluminum sulphate. What is the symbol of aluminum? As you know, aluminum has the symbol Al and sulphate has the symbol SO4. Let's check their valencies. Aluminum has a valency of 3 and sulphate has a valency of 2. So cross over the valencies and you will get Al2 SO4 in bracket 2. So now I am going to give you some home. Write chemical formula of these compounds: potassium sulphate and calcium carbonate, and comment down below. Let us see if you get it right or wrong. Subscribe, like and comment down below if you like the video.